So this is kind of like what we are now up against. And one of the reactions to this by sort of like the more senior type people is like, these are just pissant kids, you know? Like, screw them. Who cares if they can't use Facebook? They can't, like, they're running around this, like, it's not a real problem, it's just like this younger generation. I think a great illustrative example of this is my sister. She's one of these pissant kids, born in 1980, clearly in this like echo generation, Gen Y, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, you think, yep, she's a pissant kid, and what's that? Here's the problem with Meredith. She has her bachelor's degree. She actually has 2 bachelor's degrees, and her master's in business, and about 9 years of work experience, and she runs a team of 14 people. And she does not remember, ever, not having the internet. She does not ever remember not having a cell phone. She can type faster with 2 thumbs and 12 keys than I can with 10 fingers and 100 keys. She does not remember a time before Apple was cool. And so she's one of these pissant kids, yet 2 degrees, masters, on and on and on. And by the way, I used to talk to her via AIM, in America, the online AOL Instant Messenger. And then one day we talked to work, and then one day she just dropped off. And I couldn't talk to her for like 2 weeks. Like, she was just never available. And then she pops up again, I'm like, oh, what happened? She goes, oh, they blocked it, but like, you know, Curtis showed me this thing called proxy. And that's it. I mean, and you know, it happens a million times around the world. So, if we look at kind of why we're here now with this kind of FUIT, there's a lot of different things that are kind of coming together to create, call it the perfect storm or whatever. I mean, the first one is simply that these cloud applications, SaaS, whatevers, they just make it easy. You know, we would not have this conversation 5 years ago before there was Dropbox, before there was Salesforce, before there was OA, you know, ROH connections, before there was Gmail and 3G cards. But now all this technology, it makes it easy. And the problem with making it easy, they all make it easy to buy it, like with a credit card number. And so a lot of users, I mean, they'll get expensive, by the way, you know? So type in your card number, and bam, you're doing it. So you can buy, I mean, what used to be like millions of dollars worth of IT capacity. How soon are we away before like a user actually just like sets up their own Exchange server in Amazon and like figures out how to link it in, proxy? I mean, you know, like, again, maybe it's one user. Like, I do not like the way our email system works. The only reason I use our corporate email, by the way, is for the directory. Because someone's gonna type in, you know, BRI, just a pop-up autofill and have Brian Madden and go. Now, granted, our office, we have our own Exchange server with like a 700 megabyte limit, which again, what year is that? So of course, I configured a rule that just redirects every incoming message to my Gmail account. And I also set a filter then on my Gmail so it automatically archives it, and now I've got an archive of 200,000 messages going back to the 1990s on my Gmail. Is that in policy or out of policy? I don't know. But guess what? So you say, okay, they can turn that off of the server, right? Fine. You know what I'm doing? I'm installing Outlook on a machine in my house. I'm leaving it running. Actually, screw that. I'm installing it at my desk because I don't want to pay for the power. And I'm leaving it running, and I'm making it client-side rule. And it just, it goes on and on. So all these technologies make this kind of stuff easy. You know, the other problem we have is these pissant kids, they don't know it any other way, you know? They're not afraid of IT. Like in the old days, you're like, this is your computer. If you look at a bad website, you'll be fired. And people are like, oh, okay. And now you tell the kids, like, no, you can't get Facebook at work. Like, whatever. They're doing their iPhones anyway all day, you know? So these pissant kids, they don't know anyway. They won't accept this. And the problem, by the way, is, as I said, these pissant kids are like turning 30, 31 years old now. I mean, I'm 33, and I barely remember, like, before cell phone, before internet. I actually just read a good book about Google called In the Plex by Stephen Levy. Highly recommend it. Just came out a few weeks ago. Talking about Alta Vista. I'm like, oh yeah, Alta Vista. Man, takes me back. Totally forgot that was like 2 years of my life, you know? But these kids, they don't know anything, but the problem is, like I said, these kids are growing up in the industry, and these pissant kids, you know, they have real jobs and real degrees and actual experience and stuff now. And frankly, if you don't believe it, we only work like 40 years in our career, right? So you figure, divide that out, 2 to 3% every single year is retiring, and to replace on the young end by 2 to 3% more of pissant kids who won't say no to Facebook.